Hey guys, so this is my first full day home. Today is March the 20th, Friday. Got home yesterday. Um, I got my air filter running. I don't know if that's loud or not. I put together a little spray bottle of bleaching water, my filtered water I got. Organizing a lot of my preps and stuff like that on the juicer. When I left home, I had bought a whole bunch of parsley and left out like on a Wednesday. Got back Thursday, so I was glad. It was a little bit of it had molded. I got fruit in there too. A little bit of it molded, but we're pretty good. We're okay. We're okay. Um, One thing I did today, a little different. One thing I found a lot of times when I wash stuff, it's dirt. Like when you do like carrots and stuff like that. So what I do is I put that in another container, and when I wash vegetables off, I let the water run down into those, and it's soaking the dirt off. And then I'll put that in the vinegar and water, and that'll clean everything else off just to make sure. Because I've seen that dirt, and, even washing it off with the spray makes me think, am I getting everything? This is not going to be a discussion on the coronavirus specifically because eventually I want to start doing that, like day 500. I want to start doing that and going over the numbers. I don't know when I'll do that. I have more time now, obviously. I want to talk about my philosophy of prepping. I used to be really big in prepping. Y'all know I've got guns. I have an AR-15. I got to get the barrel replaced and stuff and some other things. I had like 100 paper masks. I got like 50 in dust. Man, I got a lot of stuff. Somebody stole my respirator yesterday. I had a respirator in there, my EVS respirator. I had a bottle of 90% alcohol in there, and I had a spare filter. When I was clearing the truck out, somebody came out and stole it. Just a reminder, you know. I live in a pretty nice apartment complex. Off subject. Got a lot of stuff. I went in a, but I ended up buying another one. I got another one coming, but I'm kind of short-handed. If I had a full face gas mask coming next month, and then this happens, so all I've got now is my N95 masks, and I still won't have. I've got a UVC light coming, a box light coming. Put the stuff in there and it kills everything off it. This is the light you can't get in your eyes or nothing. It'll burn your skin. It's that kind of light. And that's back ordered. So that's not even gonna start moving on it until April. So hopefully, well, ain't no hopefully about it. This pandemic may go on for a while. But I want to talk about, like I said, my philosophy, my psychology of it. I have a lot of preps, and I kind of stopped prepping for a while when I was conservative. I had, no reason to. And then this happened, and it's like, whoa, I went and got all my stuff out of there. When you get into preparedness, one thing you do is you look at what you think will be the greatest disaster or threat to you and your people, your community. I've never been one of these nuclear war people, ever. Once you start going that path, you can't use any of those preps for anything else. You can't. You just can't. You just can't. Like, whether it's influenza or coronavirus or whatever, respiratory threats are respiratory threats. They're all the same, you see. That's been my fear, or my fear has been of a pandemic. Number one, that's been my number one threat has been pandemic. So this kind of went right down my alley when coronavirus popped up. It was kind of like I had to go and look up some stuff I had. I got stuff saved on my flash drive. I got to read them. It's kind of like I just need to sit down, buckle down, and retraining. That's all. It'd be like if a police officer stopped being a police officer for 6 months and then he got called up, or he was, that's all this is. It's not really scary to me. I mean, obviously the bodies and what comes next in a pandemic is scary. The violence, the breakdown in law and order, the breakdown in hospitals. That's coming. Like I said, criminality, the grid could be affected. That's totally possible. The grid could totally be affected. One thing I keep telling people is even if the pandemic's not bad, it's going to still slow the system down. Like, I had power hours when I was going. I had power hours a couple months ago. Power was out for like 4 or 5 hours. If there's not enough people, I mean, we have traffic lights malfunctioning all the time in Charlotte and stuff like that you hear about. If they only have a few people and start stacking up, that 4 hour power outage could be easily 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours. It could be overnight. What do you do when it's when it's 20 degrees outside? What do you do when it's a heat wave? You see what I'm saying? That's the stuff I think about. It isn't just of a pandemic. It's of general grid down. That's my second one. Yeah. I'm not one of these guys, terrorists are going to blow it up. Or there's going to be some kind of white supremacist threat to it. It doesn't have to. Our grid is very fragile. That'd be my number 2. Now, number 3, I don't really talk about this often. Probably my I say before I forget, peak oil would be like 4 or 5. Peak oil. I'm concerned about peak oil and all that. I'm concerned about that. And climate change is, those fight. Peak oil and climate change are fighting neck and neck, 4 and 5. Yeah, but for 3, one thing about the Trump era that we've seen has been a disinvestment in government services. That's why Trump got rid of the pandemic office. And that's high and low. That didn't just ghetto stuff. It's everything in the government has been disinvested. If you've got more population, and you've got more poverty, and you've got people who are willingly saying, we're going to disinvest in society, that's going to cause some significant problems. Significant. And I don't really see survivalists talk about that, because they don't. Because that's why I like Canadian Prepper. He doesn't get political. Most of these preppers are very political. They think that a pandemic or something is something that has to happen, like to do away with the gays and the liberals and all that. In essence, we're all going to die. They want to go back to riding horses and donkeys and shit. I'm not political with this. To me, being a prepper would be like some guy in Florida preparing for a hurricane, or some guy in California sitting down and preparing for earthquakes. That's not politics. That's reality. These things have happened in the past. They will probably happen again. That's statistics. And that's what men do. You sit down and you plan for what could threaten you and your family and your future. That's it. What is it? Poverty, disease spread because people are not insured. People are living on hard times. People are eating unhealthy foods, so their immune system is down. All of that falls in with that. I don't know what to call it, but just that's one of the things about the Trump era I remember. Obviously, wasted time, but just that general disinvestment in government services, that disinvestment in the common good, in helping people and preserving society, and the social contract. There's just been a general. That's what that fuck your feelings. You see the Trump flag and all that they put on there. That's what all that really represents. It represents a disinvestment. That we've got our guy. All we care about, like I tell you down here, is guns and low taxes. We don't care about anything else. We don't care about anybody. And we don't even care about, they're at the point, none of them care about climate change. They're like, well, if it happens, it happens. Just keeping our standard of living up. That's it. These are people that they can't live in harmony with the brotherhood of man. Got off subject. My point is that general disinvestment in government services. That's not a threat to me. I work and everything. That's like a threat, but it's an enhancement. You understand? It's like a dude that sells drugs with a gun on him. Police catch him with the gun. Yeah, the drugs is the charge, but the gun is the enhancement or gang enhancement. These are all enhancements. By themselves, not that serious. But when you have something serious that pops up, and you got people out here that are uninsured, who are eating bad food, who are disconnected, they're outsiders. These are your vectors. These are your disease vectors. This is real talk. That's what that comes from. It's not magic that the disease spreads when you've got, like I said, that are uninsured. They're not paid living wage. They're not healthy. They're not healthy. They weren't healthy before the disease. What are they now? You see what I'm saying? I hear about kids having strokes and I'm like, God, eating just poor food. Kids having strange illnesses and stuff. It's just. Oh, let me add something to it. These kids that in New York City, I was talking to you about how, what do they do? These 100,000 kids that are homeless. When you say we're gonna drop you out of school, that's the only meal they get of the day. Is the best meal of the day is them going to school. I think they're doing something about that. But I'm just making the point. These are those people. These are the disease vectors. It's not magic. This is how it spreads. This is what multiply. You know what a force multiplier is? Force multiplier does not fight the wars. A force multiplier makes fighting the wars easier, like night vision goggles, thermal infrared, things of that nature. They help make the fight easier. They help make the attack stronger. You see, and that's been my concern. That's why, to me it all fits together, and that's how, as a socialist, I'm able to kind of deal with that being a prepper. People think, oh, that's just, you gotta be some redneck with a gun rack in your truck. No, I'm just acknowledging that our system is broken, and we've got a bunch of people who have no interest in fixing it or even talking about fixing it. Peace.